Saturday, the 14th day of July, is a day the people of Ekiti State will file out to decide who they want to preside over the affairs of the state for the next 4 years. Now, 35 political parties are contesting, but only 34 are fielding candidates for the Ekiti governorship seat. Now, this historic event has, in the last few days, generated a lot of attention, both at the state as well as the national level, leaving some Nigerians in doubt of what might be the outcome of the electoral process come Saturday. About 2,195 polling units across the state. Now, the federal government, on its own part, has deployed security personnel to checkmate any excesses of the disgruntled elements who might want to foment form of trouble, in order to truncate the free, fair, and credible electoral process. Well, however, there are questions to be asked. How can the electoral process be accomplished without the attendant discrepancies that have been noted with over the years for some of the elections here in the country? And what is the expectation for the electorate? In other words, what are the do's and don'ts that should be guiding the people at tomorrow's exercise? That's our focus on the program, Nigeria Today. My name is Blessing Abu. Welcome to the program. Now, to shed more light on the issue of the day, I'd like to welcome our guest. To my far left, I have Mrs. Temilola Odetola. She's the founder and president, Children and Youth Awareness Development Foundation. Madam, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And joining her on set is Mike Usaha. He's a legal practitioner as well as a public affairs analyst. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Blessing. Good evening, viewers.
Yes, Ekiti election. Everyone says it's the litmus test for 2019 election, and already for a country or a nation noted with some of elections flaws here and there, hoping to get it right. But of course, several choices are before the people of Ekiti State. Let's start on what exactly is the greatest choice for them. So, Saha.
Well, let me start with a few disclaimers. And one of them is the fact that Dr. Fakaide Fahimi, one of the contestants in this election, is a long-standing friend of mine, a friend and a boss of mine. He employed me in the Center for Democracy and Development when I worked with that organization for a few years. The second disclaimer, of course, is the fact that I am myself, in addition to the description you have given about me, a member of the APC. But that's not the capacity in which...
I didn't describe you in that way.
I said in addition to the description you made. But I come here not in the capacity of a card-carrying member of APC.
We're not discussing APC, we're not discussing PDP, we just want to see the choice before.
Precisely.
Exactly.
You asked a fundamental question in the prelude to the program, and you said this is a litmus test for 2019.
Exactly.
I think it's a litmus test for 2019, and I agree with you, but even much more fundamentally, it's a litmus test for our democratization process. You have made the point about the fact that it is turning into something else within the last few days. So, Blessing, the question is, almost 20 years down the road, at what point are we going to say that elections should be like every normal day? Election days should be like every normal day in the life of an average Nigerian. We've seen deployment of 30,000 police officers. In addition to that, we're hearing just yesterday that the military has also been deployed. Members of the DSS have been deployed. Members of the civil defense. For goodness sake, are we going on war?
It's not a civil war, it's a civic responsibility.
Precisely. So why such heavy deployment, you know? And are we going to have the same number of people to deploy in February next year when we'll have elections all over the place? You know, so these are fundamental questions that institutions must put in the planning process. Politicians must, you know, ask themselves these questions. For how long are we going to continue this way? Look at the show of shame we witnessed a few days ago. You know, I'm happy that the police has come out to say that we apologize for what happened and all of that, and we should see more of that. But, Blessing, again, I ask, for how long are we going to continue on this slippery slope.
Okay, Mr. Odetola, let's find out really for elections, in order for them not to be for those are the characteristics we've seen, part of which you already started on already. For us to promote stability and get the trust of the people to actually make sure democracy can stay on as it should be, what are those things you've seen, and what do you think we should be doing differently as Ekiti people go to the polls?
Well, I want to first of all congratulate the people of Ekiti State, and from my own point of view and from my experience, I would suggest that we should try and imbibe democratic culture, because that is an issue. Our traditional method of selection of leaders is so much in the blood, is so much in the system, that it's not easy for us to actually adopt and accept the democratic kind of way of selection of our leaders.
Yeah, you've used the word selection twice now. This is supposed to be an election.
Yes, yes, I'm using the word select. I know.
On purpose?
Yes, on purpose. Selection is based on, the political parties. They know what they are doing. They select. When we talk of internal democracy, I don't think there's anything like internal democracy. PDP will look at who will go through for us. It's not a matter of elect. They select. They sell. Once they are able to know that this person is going to stand for us well, or maybe APC or PDP or any of the SDP and others, they know that this person is. They select. They sell. They select. It's not because you will not say you want to elect now. Most political parties don't elect. They select so that they can have a tangible candidate to represent them at the election period.
Now, I asked the first question talking about the choice before the people.
Yes.
Now we know, of course, it's not just the people that are involved, or that institutions are involved. You already talked about the aspect of security. Now for Ekiti, which is the peg for this discussion, what are those basic things they should watch out for in terms of making their choice? I know people, like Will said already, there were incidences in the last few days. This is already making people say, okay, I might not go in order for me not to be violently treated.
Exactly.
So aspects of security, which already we started talking about, but the people themselves, how do they engage in making sure that their vote counts and they are not disenfranchised?
Well, what I would say is that in this aspect, that the people of Ekiti State should take it easy. There is tension everywhere now, we all know. But they should take it easy and be rest assured that their votes will be protected and that they are secured. They should not be tensed up. They should feel free to come out to cast their votes, and they should be orderly. They should know that the government of this country have really tried to put things in place to make sure that the electoral process goes smoothly. For example, the deployment of the security personnel and INEC officials who have been there for days or probably for weeks to ensure that the materials are enough and they are adequate, that there are no logistic problems. So I want to say that the people of Ekiti should remain rest assured that all will go well tomorrow. Because government have played their parts, and then they should not be scared. I'm just concerned about being scared, because they should not see the number of security agencies around and then be scared. I sincerely urge the people of Ekiti State not to fear, not to panic. They are safe, and their votes will be protected. Okay.
Already you've taken a look into the people, what they should do. Now let's take a look at INEC as an organization or as an institution too. Preparedness and the promptness to get into all the different units. We've seen some other things in the past. Yes. What do you look at?
Well, I think INEC has, well, I mean, from what we can see and monitor from the media, it does appear that like INEC is prepared for this election. Just yesterday, there was indication that sensitive materials have already been distributed. I think a week ago we had the non-sensitive materials deployed, and long before now there have been series of engagements with stakeholders in this election, and there has been a robust exchange between the people and INEC as an institution, and we're continually getting assurances from INEC that things will go well. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see how this goes. Like I said before, this is a litmus test for 2019, but much more importantly, it's a litmus test for our democratization process and our institutional capacity of certain organizations to be able to discharge their constitutional responsibilities. One of them is INEC, the others are the security agencies and all of that. This is not the first time we're seeing deployment of heavy security at election time. But we're saying, at what point are we going to say that we are matured enough, we're sensible enough to deal with issues as politicians on our own without the involvement of heavy security?
Okay.
You know.
All right. Of course, so Odetola, you've participated in election monitoring on time past. Yes. Now, let's take a look at what to see or what is expected of those who will be monitoring this time. What do you see them doing, and how should they go about their conduct?
Well, I will sincerely say that to be an election observer is a very interesting thing. Very, very interesting.
Share with us those moments.
Yes. One, you get to see how Nigerians are interested in choosing their leaders. You get to see how the INEC officials sweat it out. And in fact, that made me, in 2011, to recommend strongly to INEC. There was no food vendor as at in 2011. Let me just be tentative now. As of 2011, there was no food vendor. The electoral officers, they needed to drink water. There was no water. In fact, I had to take permission from the security agency, and I got them snacks, and I got them water on my own.
How kind of you.
Yes, I had to do it because they are like my children, the corpers, youth corpers. I even had to even offer some water to the security agencies there then. So to be an observer is a very interesting. You hear and you are able to even give advice to the electoral officers. That is INEC.
What kind of advice?
Such advice as take it easy, because at times they are tensed up. They just, as in, just drop the pen and just say, please queue. People are not orderly. They are tired. They are stressed up. They are confused because of the noise, because of the rowdiness. That's why I'm so happy that we have enough security agencies being pushed there now to at least make sure that everything is orderly. And then to be an observer is also very, very interesting. You get to see how Nigerians, how loving we are, how caring we are. How, you might want to know. You see that they allow the older ones move forward. The younger ones, they stay back. Pregnant women are just automatically allowed to cast their votes. It's a very interesting thing. And then you hear when, and then you're able to see how we educate ourselves, even at the point of casting the votes.
What kind of education comes at that point?
Who you to vote for? Yeah, no, not who to vote for. Okay. No, not who to vote for now. You may say an elderly person or a young person who has not participated in election before, saying, which finger will I use? How do I do this? Should I go and come back, or should I wait? They are asking those that have been in it before what to do. And you see the kind of love we are showing to ourselves. In fact, even at election points, Nigerians are still hospitable. That is one great thing I enjoyed as an observer, apart from Nigerians insisting, even if it is raining or it is sunning, Nigerians, they are ready to wait. They are ready to stand in the rain. They are ready.
So, but how neutral should an observer be? Because you've looked into so many things. You've talked about even stepping in to buy them food. These are some of the things that should have been taken care of. What is the position, the neutrality of that person? What should it be? How should it be?
Position of the
observer. Anyone monitoring?
Yes, anybody monitoring is there to ensure that things are okay. Now, we have election monitors and we have observers. I was an observer.
Okay.
Now, as an observer, I don't have the right to give any instruction to anybody. I just observe. Whatever I note, probably I can pass it to the monitor. The monitor, they have the right to say, please, instead of 1 line, please let us make it 2 lines. Instead of 2 lines, please let us adjust. Let us move back what they can advise. But observer, we observe and we call the attention of all the people concerned to what we have observed. Yes, yes. Because they are...
Okay, all right. We'll go on this break now, gentlemen and lady. Nigerians too already spoke to us on what they think Ekiti election should actually be, or how it should flow come Saturday. We'll take a look at that and we'll get back to other things that will be of interest to this discussion. You're watching Nigeria Today and the discussion is ongoing. Tomorrow's Saturday, 14th July, governorship elections in Ekiti State. The do's and don'ts. Let's go to the streets.
Expectation about the election in Ekiti tomorrow is going to be a fair election because by the way, INEC had already prepared the ground and have already, I think from what I have been reading in newspapers, probably have put all things on the ground for the election to be conducted.
We expect actually the stakeholders, the Ekiti people, to actually exercise their franchise peacefully. Everybody should be given his opportunity to go and cast his votes, and they should just cast it wisely for the better of the country and for the people of the Ekiti State.
I want stakeholders to have it in mind that we don't get it right now, we can't get it right ever. So let us also do the right thing by coming out and vote. No violence, nothing.
It's a very simple, they are going to do clear election, peaceful. Because that is why the security are there. If you can compare this time around 2018, compare with 2014.
The security of 18, we thank God and thank the security of Nigeria, which is the police people. I know they have been doing it and they are going to do their best to make sure that everybody, they will protect the people of the Ekiti State so that they will come out and exercise their franchise.
The security should know that this country belongs to everybody. They don't belong to any party. They should do their normal work to do. They should not look at the money. Money will come and gone. Nigeria will remain one.
Don't look at any money there. Anyway, those are critical issues really for electorate to actually watch out for. Yeah. Let's take a look at what really should be transpiring at the point.
I think the point of departure will be where she stopped about how Nigerians are nice and how they extend courtesies to one another and all of that. But, you know, the Electoral Act is very clear and the electoral guidelines are also very clear. On election day, you're supposed to queue up, get accredited, and thereafter you come back when it's time to vote and you leave the place, you know. I just was wondering whether it would be okay, for instance, for someone who has come to vote to begin to ask questions about what they should do or which political party they should vote for. This is not allowed at all. Exactly. You know, election campaigns will cease by 12 midnight this morning. From today, there are no campaigns, and certainly there will be no campaigns tomorrow. So if anybody is engaging in campaigns, even basic questions as to who should I vote for, where should I thumbprint, these are issues that the political parties and other stakeholders should have dealt with long before now. So it's not allowed to do so tomorrow. And I expect that the people of Ekiti, enlightened people with the highest number of professors and all of that, they should know all of this by the time they go in tomorrow. You know, the expectation of the security deployment that we have seen is it will not look nice. It will sound as if we're not serious-minded people if, in spite of what we have seen in terms of deployment, there is still crisis here and there. We expect that there will be a significant reduction in occurrences of crisis and all of that. Security men are supposed to be neutral and ensure that, you know, we have a credible, you know, free and fair process, and everybody is allowed to exercise his or her franchise without any infractions of the Electoral Act or the electoral guidelines that we have in place.
Okay, let's take a look at all that aspect in terms of technology. Of course, we know most of the times we've had people talking about the issue of card readers and all of this one. How should they conduct themselves in that respect for the people?
Well, I think INEC should be very, very transparent and well organized. And then they should make sure they get to the centers early enough and then get themselves organized. Then as for the card readers, I believe that the INEC should not have problem with card readers, because this issue of card readers during every election should be over. Look, we have gone far democratically. I think we should, by tomorrow, I don't think we should have issues with card readers. I think our card readers should work well, and then the INEC should be very transparent. There should be transparency in everything. Then I want to enjoy politicians too. They should be able to educate their members.
And even supporters.
Even supporters, yes, supporters. When we come with them to the polls. So the politicians should take it easy. There should be no violence. There's nothing like, oh, these are my people, we are 10, so the 10 of us must queue together. No, join the queue from behind. Nothing like you're slotting in, you're trying to bring in your person or disorderliness. No. Politicians should please take it easy. Because whether we like it or not, there will only be one winner. There can't be two winners. So they have all tried. They should just allow things to go the way it should go. They should allow the people of Ekiti to decide for themselves whom they want. There should be no influence. There should be no violence. There should be no rigging. There should be no assault. There should be no abuse of any sort.
And here, Blessing, we must commend. Well, I speak for myself. I don't know how others will observe what we saw yesterday or the day before. That traditional rulers, these are very, very highly respected and revered individuals. Exactly. They came together, you know, in Ekiti, and they said, the people, I mean, the government, INEC, all stakeholders involved in this electoral process must ensure that the popular will of the people prevails. You know, they kind of assured the people of Ekiti that nothing will go wrong and everybody should conduct him or herself in accordance with the law. And I'm just joining her to say that in addition to the traditional rulers, even religious leaders should come out and make appeals. This is another set of people that are also highly influential and very well respected. We must have them come out and talk to the people and ensure that we play by the rules, basically. You know, we're talking about an event that is taking place tomorrow. But again, I keep going back to your point about this being a litmus test.
Yes.
And going forward, I think there is a need for us to reduce the attractiveness that accompanies political office in Nigeria. This is an issue that we really need to deal with. It's not enough to expect that, well, people will not see the prize as worthy of even sacrificing their lives.
For service to the people.
Precisely. Okay. You know, and it's because of this attractiveness that most times people are ready to do anything they can to ensure that they get into office.
About attraction, that one other area is when eventually people had already cast their votes, waiting. That waiting period before elections results are announced. You see people already going, maybe the social media going, well, okay, this is what we've seen so far and all of this one. How do we check on all of those excesses so it won't impinge on what is to be expected? But whoever it is that is going to come out victorious at the end.
By the guidelines, you're supposed to cast your vote and to go back to wherever you're coming from. The guidelines indicate that results will be declared at the polling unit and transmitted to a central server, which will now help in the process of collation of election results. So again, I think we need to re-emphasize and reiterate this point about if you cast your vote, you just have to leave the place so that it will not become crowded and provide an avenue for a breakdown of law and order. She spoke about card readers, and I'm not quite sure of the situation now, but in 2015, what happened is if there were issues with the card reader accreditation process, you were allowed the opportunity to do a manual accreditation.
Yes.
You know, I'm not quite sure what is going to happen now, but I think INEC, like she rightly pointed out, has gone far in terms of this technology, has not only validated it legally, but has also gone very far in terms of testing it. So we don't expect that there should be any major problems with the accreditation process.
Okay.
Well, politics in Nigeria, I would say, has to do with do or die. Whether we like it or not, there's this phrase of do or die thing in politics in Nigeria. I just want to use it, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It's a trial of whether you can get there or not. If you cannot get there, please join whoever won the election. So politics should not be seen as a do or die affairs. And for that of it, for political positions not to be attractive, I don't think it's possible not to make it unattractive, because some people who are politicians are already rich. So it is not the money they want.
The choice for them is to make sure that this is a civic responsibility and a duty.
Yes, not a do or die thing.
Thank you very much. I'd like to appreciate Mike Usaha, a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Also like to appreciate Mrs. Temilola Odetola, founding president, Children and Youth Awareness Development Foundation. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
We also like to appreciate you for your viewership, and on behalf of every one of us in the studio, thank you for being a part of our discussion. The program returns on Monday, 7:30 p.m. But remember, you can watch the program or any of the editions at all online at www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. My name is Blessing Abu. Bye for now.